Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm most honored, and it is a very good opportunity for us to be able to tell a little bit about what we have been working with the last year. My name is Karin Lind-Mörnesten. I am the CEO of Swedish Care International. I will spend this few minutes with talking about a little bit about Swedish Care International, but also about our project, the Queen Sylvia Nursing Award, which we have had the honor to do together with, among others, In Opinion from Finland, who has actually been the enabler of this very important project. Well, if you think I'm moving a little bit strangely, I just want to tell you I've broken my right arm. It is a bit complicated because I'm normally a person that speaks with my hands, and if I can't use my right hand, it's a bit complicated. So anyway, Swedish Care International, we have the vision to create the world's best dementia and elderly care, based on a clear care philosophy, and make it available in the whole world. We are an international active Swedish organization that develops, packages, and exports Swedish elderly and dementia care. And our care philosophy is based on the experience and knowledge of Stiftelsen Sylvia-hemmet. Stiftelsen Sylvia-hemmet is a foundation created by Her Majesty Queen Sylvia of Sweden. Her mother suffered from dementia and died about 20 years ago. And during that very severe process for Her Majesty and her family, Her Majesty realized that many people dedicate their time to work with people suffering from dementia, but not many people have any proper education. And she started to look into the fact in what it looks like in Sweden, and she realized that most of the people didn't have the education, and there were no education in dementia care. So she has since dedicated a lot of her time and her efforts into make a difference when it comes to the lives of elderly and people suffering from dementia and their families. So why is this important? We have talked a lot here this morning, and I will listen to very many interesting speeches about the challenges in the world today. Many people think that the challenge for elderly is mainly a challenge for the industrial countries. That is not the fact. We can see today that there are a lot of factors that tells us that the world population is growing, and the population is growing older. And the biggest change is in the developing countries. And that means that the biggest challenge is will also be facing in the developing countries. That is, of course, in one way a very good sign, because it means that people are living longer. But as you are living longer, you also have an increased risk of developing dementia. Age is the strongest factor in the strongest risk factor in developing dementia. So, and also, as we know, as the world is developing, the amount of children being born, the nativity is decreasing. That means that there are more and more old people with multiple diseases, very often suffering from dementia, that needs to be taken care of and financed by less and less children. So if we speak to the leaders of the world today, many of them actually tell us that the biggest challenge for the world, if you look 30 or 40 years in the future, is the demographic challenge. And how will we be able to finance this? And how will we all be able to cope? We see that problem very, very clearly today, for instance, in China, where the Chinese society has developed. The people of China is growing older, but they have, as you all know, had a one-child policy. That means that a young couple that gets married in China today, they will together have at least 12 old people to take care of in the future. Because they will both have their grandparents on the mother's and the father's side, as well as their parents. At the same time, they're supposed to be able to work full-time, to fend for themselves and their family, and maybe also have children of their own. And everybody understands, of course, that that's an equation that is not very easy to solve. This is the reasons for us to dedicate our time and our efforts to try to make a change. I will tell you a little bit about what we do, but then I will focus on why we do it a lot. So, how do we do this? We work a lot with training, certification models. We work with nursing home concepts, how to provide the best possible care for old people, and especially people with multiple diagnoses and dementia, of course. We have also developed, which is quite new in this sector, a digital platform and mobile applications to facilitate the life for elderly and their families. And we have, which I will come back to, also established a scholarship for nursing students. All this together, of course, with the aim to be able to make a difference. So we have our own training courses in basic geriatrics. We have management programs, and you would say, what would that facilitate? Well, many countries of the world are very hierarchic when it comes to the healthcare sector. So it doesn't facilitate very much if we educate the people who are actually working with the patients, as long as the leaders do not understand that the only solution is better knowledge and more education and training. And that's so fantastic when you look into elderly and dementia care, because you can actually show that if you dedicate your time and your efforts into giving more education and training to the people who do work with the patients, not only will the patients have a better life quality and the families will also have a better life, but it will also be cheaper. Because many of these patients are quite difficult to treat, because they are not treated in the right way. And it means that if you do it the right way, it also facilitates the whole situation for the care sector, for the nursing home, and also, of course, also the situation for the majority of these people who are actually being taken care of at home by their relatives. So we have tailor-made trainings. We have mentorship programs, management supports, and we provide whole nursing home concepts for those who are interested in that. As I mentioned, we have also decided that we will strategically increase our efforts in the digital world, because that is a possibility for us to reach out to as many as possible, as quickly as possible. As the fact is that we are actually all in a hurry to solve this problem. We cannot wait 50 years. Then go slowly. We need to be able to spread this information and knowledge as quickly as possible to as many as possible. And for that reason, we have developed today we have two mobile applications. One is called Dementia Support. They're both made for iPhone and Android platforms. The other one is called Elderly Care. The Dementia Support platform application is free of charge for the user, and it contains all kind of information that you will need to be able to support an elderly relative at home who suffers from dementia. But not only to support, we also one of the biggest aims with our applications is also to inspire, to make it possible to actually be able to cope with the situation. This is a very, very hard situation to care for your old relative at home or your partner who is suffering from dementia. There are many types of dementia, but many of them are horrendous to see. And we very often call this the family's disease, because it affects the whole family. And for that reason, we have also used a lot of efforts into trying to inspire the family members to make the life easier, both for themselves and for the patient. and to give examples on what you can do, because many people get very afraid. They do nothing because they're so afraid that they will do wrongly. So we will try to inspire them to actually try to do what you have done all the time. Try to do the fun things together. Go to the cinema if you have the possibility. Go for a walk. Sit out under a tree in the park. Have a picnic. Do as much things as you can. Because the biggest challenge with dementia is once you have lost your ability, if you are too nice to your grandfather and put him in a wheelchair, he will very, very quickly forget how to walk. And he would not be able to walk again. So the best thing you can do is to force him to go for that walk in the park. So that's the reason for us. The other one is called elderly care. The dementia support application today is available in English only. It will in a few weeks be able also to read it in Dutch, actually. The elderly care application is exactly the same target group, but it's aimed for everyone who take care of an old person. It doesn't have to be a person with dementia. So why do we do that? Yeah, we have a broader perspective with that application, because many, many people don't even know that their grandfather or their parent is actually suffering from dementia. In many countries, they think that it's totally normal to be aggressive when you get old. It's not normal. It's a symptom of a disease, that we can actually facilitate the life for the person who is aggressive and for their families if we know how to do it. So for that reason, the elderly care application is broader, talks of a lot of different disabilities that you might suffer from in your old age. But it will also give you a little bit more information about the fact when you should seek doctor's advice. The elderly care application is today available in 10 languages, which is actually today released in Arabic, Russian, Mandarin, Swedish, English, Spanish, and Portuguese, and several other languages. And we continue developing it as quickly as we can. Then we have also come to what we were actually here to talk about today, the Queen Sylvia Nursing Award. Before I do that, I just tell you that we are today present in 6 different countries outside of Sweden: Japan, Germany, China, UK, South Korea, and the Netherlands. And we are currently today investigating the possibilities to also start working in Indonesia, the countries surrounding the Gulf, and Brazil. So, Queen Sylvia Nursing Award, why did we do this? We decided to do this as an honor actually to Her Majesty Queen Sylvia, as we work very closely and we are closely related to the Foundation Sylvia Hemmet. And Her Majesty has dedicated so much of her time and her effort to facilitate and change the life for elderly and people suffering from dementia. We knew that the best gift we could give her for her birthday was something that would make a difference. So we decided that we will that we would do an award called Queen Sylvia Nursing Award, for students at nursing schools. So why did we choose students at nursing schools? Because we all know that when you look into the development and the challenges of the healthcare of today and tomorrow, the nurses are going to have a very, very important and crucial role. Many times the nurses work long hours, and they have not everybody focuses on them and all the hard work that they do. And we need to be able to get the best students to the nursing schools in Sweden and in the rest of the world, because they are going to be the key and the clue for the possibilities to develop the whole care situation. So for that reason we choose to do that. And we decided that we would do it together with selected partners. So this is actually, from my point of view, a true collaboration between NGOs and companies and research foundations. We all have the same aim, to facilitate for people suffering from dementia and for old people in the future healthcare. Because it's not only interesting for the people suffering from dementia, it's also increasingly interesting to learn about the problems that elderly people have. As the populations are growing older and older, we also know that the majority of the patients in the future, even though that it might not feel that today, you might not feel that in your countries today, but we see that more and more of the patients are going to be old. So the knowledge of the problems and the challenges for old people is going to be increasingly valuable for all nurses. It doesn't matter if you're going to be in the emergency ward or if you're going to work in the intensive care. You will all contribute from the knowledge of old people's problems and challenges. So, and we decided, as I talked about it earlier, as we have strategically decided that we will work digital, we decided that we would do this scholarship in a totally different way. Because we wanted the best scholar. We wanted the person who was most creative, who had the best ideas, and who also wanted to try to do things in a little bit different way, as we do. So for that reason, we choose to collaborate with InOpinion, who has this fantastic system that I know that Tom will tell you about in a few minutes, so I'm not going to go into the technique. But the idea was that we wanted a scholar who could give us the best answer of how to meet the challenges of the future for people in elderly and healthcare, with focus on with people of old age. And that was really interesting because we got so many interesting ideas, and the system also enabled us to enable the crowdsourcing possibility, so that all the students that put their ideas into the system would also see the others' ideas, and they would rank each other's ideas, which gave a huge transfer of knowledge and ideas between all the students. And all the University College of Nursing in Sweden, there are 22 nursing colleges in Sweden, participated, so that it enabled the students from all these places to participate, which we are also very, very glad and honored for. And this was the first time we started out in the autumn of 2013, and we thought that if we can get 100 applicants, we would be really, really, really satisfied. And in the end, we had 330 applications in different ideas. Many students gave more than one idea, and we had, as I said, participants from all the schools, in the nursing schools of Sweden, and they had more than 3,000 activities within the system, which we think has been increasingly very, very, very important, and much more than we would ever expect. It gave us also a lot of attention, of course, in the media, but also we realized that it gave us something that we had never thought of. It gave us a very, very good picture of what today's students in Sweden saw in their daily work. And that was not always a nice picture. Even though that we are high in ranks when it comes to elderly care in Sweden, we realize that when you see what's actually happening out there, it doesn't work all the places as we would like it to work. And that was so important information for us that we can use to work with to facilitate and develop this sector further. So it was a fantastic experience. And you see the photo there, it's in middle in red, is Her Majesty Queen Sylvia. She invited all our partners to a luncheon to say thanks for this gift, which she has appreciated very, very much. And we are now looking forward to being able to spread this project out in other countries, and I'll come back to that. This is 2013's year's winner. Her name is Hanna. She's 22 years old, and she's in her second semester in the nursing school of the Red Cross of Stockholm. And she had a fantastic idea, which we are now trying to develop further together with her. So what did she get? Well, apart from the fact that she would receive the diploma from the hand of Her Majesty, she also got equivalent to 6,000 euros in a scholarship. But the most important thing is that she actually gained an internship with all our partners. And that is very, very important to us, because we would like to show her that she makes a difference, and that a lot of organizations and individuals and companies are willing to make an effort to facilitate her future life as a nurse. So these are the partners that we have. I'm not gonna tell everything about all of them, but I'm just going to mention a little bit that this is a very interesting mix of non-profit organizations, such as the Organization for Nurses of Sweden, the Nurses Union, the Order of St. John, the Foundation of Sylvia Hemmet, together with med tech companies who work with fighting cancer, big companies who have nursing homes, companies who have hospitals in Eastern Europe, and so on and so on. And of course, together with our technique partner in Opinion, and some other technique partners from Finland, Siberia, and Walkie. And why is this important? It is important to show the nurses of tomorrow that there are so many sectors within the society where the nursing competence makes a difference. Not only in primary care or in hospitals. If you choose to be a nurse, you will have very good opportunities for your future. And I think that is the most important thing that we can actually give to the most important knowledge that we can actually give to these students, so that they feel that they do the right choice, because they are very important to us. So, as I mentioned, we are now looking into to continue with this project in other countries, and we are currently having a discussion here in Finland. So we hope, if we are lucky, to be able to have a Queen Sylvia Nursing Award of Finland in 2014. And I will now leave the floor to Tom, and you will tell everybody a little bit more on how you made this actually happening from the technical standpoint. Thank you so much.